to go through the warm-up that's helping us prepare for our Unit 9 test. So this warm-up focused on some of our logarithm concepts. In number 1, we're asked to write this equation in logarithmic form. If we're asked to write in logarithmic form, that means we need to add a log into our equation. We don't have a log currently, so we're going to be creating a log. And the way we do that is going to be by using what we call the circle method, which just helps us remember the order that we're going to fill this log out in. With the circle method, we always start with our base. Our base is going to be p. So I'm going to write that down below as my base. And then we're going to go to our answer, which is 313. And that's going to be equal to our exponent, which is 12. So we go base, answer, exponent. So that's why we call it the circle method, and that gives us our logarithm. And that's all we're doing. We're not evaluating it. We're just writing it in logarithmic form. In number 2, we're asked to evaluate. Evaluate means we should get a number answer for this logarithm. So I'm looking to, in other words, you could think of this as solve or get an answer. Now we know that we can't type a log base 4 on our calculator, so we learned something called the change of base property. That was on day 3 of logarithms. And our change of base property helps us to type any base logarithm on our calculator. To do that, we're going to have to do the log of one number over the log of the other number. So we're going to create a common log. Our answer goes on top, and our base always goes on the bottom. So this is our base, and I always say the base goes on the bottom. So when we're evaluating this, 56 would go on top, and 4 would go on the bottom. So I'll go ahead and evaluate that on my calculator. You do have a log button, so I'll go ahead and press the log button and type in 56. Just make sure to close your parentheses, and then we can divide that by the log of 4. We've been used to writing 3 decimals, and that will be the same on your test. So I'll say 2.904 is going to be my answer there. And then lastly, we're asked to solve this equation. And we have 2 big steps. The first step is going to be to write it as a log using circle method. And then the second step is going to be evaluating that log using the change of base property. So it's kind of like this process almost combines these 2 steps that we just did in 1 and 2. So I'll go ahead and start that first step by doing the circle method. So again, I'm going to create a log. We're going to start with our base and go to our answer. So our base is 6 and our answer is 93. And that will be equal to our exponent, which is x. So that was step 1. Was the circle method, and then step 2 is our change of base property. So I can't type this directly on my calculator, but I could set up my change of base where I put 1 log on top and 1 log on the bottom. Remember that the base always goes on the bottom, so 6 will go on the bottom, 93 will go on top. That will be equal to x, which means I could just evaluate that on my calculator. So I'll type in the log of 93, again making sure to close my parentheses, and then the log of 6. Again, I'm going to write down 3 decimals, so I'll say 2.529 would technically round up, so you could say 2.530. If you said 2.529, that would be fine as well. And that would be my answer.